transfer window was a bit odd. It was one of those cases where I wanted to improve the club in a few areas. The players I was looking at either A, were demanding more money than I was willing to pay for them, or B, didn't want to come to Palace. We did bank some pickups. We'll go over that in a minute, but I did spend a lot of time scouting my new Under-21 international shortlist, and that's where I found Joel Tizier. I'm totally pronouncing that wrong. He's from Ivory Coast. That's probably the French pronunciation. Words are hard today. Words are hard every day, but they seem to be particularly hard today. So we're just calling him Joel. He is a 16-year-old Ivorian with one Under-20 appearance. That's what caught my eye originally, a 16-year-old with one Under-20 appearance. A 16-year-old with one Under-20 appearance normally wouldn't catch my eye, except he's from the Ivory Coast. And Ivory Coast has one of the best youth ratings in Africa at 105. So I had my scout in Africa scout him, and this is what he came back with. And I was like, holy cow, he's 16 years old. He's already got double-digit numbers in most everything physically. Mentally, he's got really good decision-making, really good determination. His work rate is nice. His positioning is nice. His composure and bravery are not bad. His anticipation and aggression aren't bad. Technically, he's about as bad as you would expect in crossing, dribbling, finishing in that. Well, not even dribbling. He's at least a 7. But in heading, he's a 10. In marking, he's a 10. Tackling, he's a 15. Technique, he's a 13. He's on 25 pounds a week. I went to them and said, hey, what would it take for us to get him? Because African players, you can get really, really cheap. His club, RFC Aboiso, said, oh, you can have him on a free. Because his contract is expiring. So I went ahead and I would have paid money for him. I would have paid up to a couple £100,000 for him because I really believe if this is where he's starting at, he has nowhere to go but up. And he's 16 years old, so if we can keep him at the club for 5 years, when he's 21, he'll get English citizenship, especially if I can get him games at the lower levels. I've thought about asking the club for an overseas affiliate, and they keep shooting me down. We'll try again at the end of the year. But yeah, this could possibly be the best pickup of this transfer window. I didn't even pay any money for him. It took me 3 hours of scouting to find him, but at the end of the day, to me, if he turns into a really good player, that's worth it. And like clockwork, it is the evening coffee clutch going on. We really didn't make any moves until the end of the transfer window. The first player we brought in was Gabriel Verón from SEP. Is that Sao Paulo? Let me look this up real quick. It's Palmeiras. I could have just gone to the team and said, oh, look, there's Palmeiras. Jeez. You can tell it's definitely late in the week. He had a okay career for them. He started a few games, a couple 7.0 seasons. I brought him on because he was 3.8 million. He's 2.5 star current ability, 4.5 star potential ability, and he's 20 years old. So he's got a decent amount of improving he can do. He is an attacking midfielder who can play both sides, which is what I was looking for. He can play striker in a pinch, and if it's really an emergency, I can throw him in the midfield. Physically, he's pretty solid. I wish the strength was a little bit better, but beggars can't be choosers. Mentally, he's pretty solid across the board. The 6 positioning, I'm looking to improve. We can do that through individual training. And then technically, decent crosser, decent crosser, 14 in dribbling, finishing, and first touch, 11 passing, 15 technique. So if we can get him some regular playing time, which might be the case, especially if Hughes and a couple of the other guys leave if we can get him some playing time, he'll be part of the rotation the rest of the season once he comes off his injury. But I'm thinking next year, especially if we make some of the moves we're intending to make in the summer transfer window, he'll be at least either a starter or a primary backup next season. Nicholas Thaler comes to us from Lanús. I needed some help at the defensive center back, just for depth purposes, more for depth purposes than anything else. With the number of games we've had, and guys going out on yellow cards and red cards and being suspended multiple games for yellow cards and red cards, I needed a quality backup. Thaler comes to us from Lanús in Argentina. He's 2.5-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, 24 years old. Physically, pretty solid. Mentally, I wish the aggression was a little bit higher, but 5 isn't horrible. It's bad. It's just not horrible. But I'm thinking the 16 positioning and 16 decision making kind of make up for that. 15 concentration is nice, as is the 14 anticipation. He's a decent header with decent jumping reach. His marking and tackling are both 14. His technique is okay. He's not a guy who's going to bring the ball up out of the defense. He's a central defender who I can trust to get in there. He's 6'1", 170 pounds. He can get into the scrum and fight for the headers. And for $3 million, I think that's kind of a bargain. Daniel Perez is the one player we actually spent a decent amount of money on this year, other than Jean-Philippe Mateta. He comes to us from Club Bruges. 21-year-old Venezuelan, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. I need backup at striker. That's one of the things I realized when Mateta went down with injury, and then I had Edward and Pellegrini, and we were playing a bunch of games within a bunch of days, and then my essentially third striker at the time was Fosu, and while he's not bad, he's not good either. So I wanted a quality backup, and I think I found it in Daniel Perez. Physically, he's very solid. I like the 15 jumping reach. He's got 13 heading. He's 6'2". He's a target forward who I'll probably play as a pressing forward. Mentally, he's very good across the board. The 7 positioning is a bit on the low side, but we can still work on that. At 21 years old, he definitely still has room for improvement, at least a couple years worth. Technically, he's an okay dribbler. He's a pretty decent finisher. His first touch isn't bad. He's a nice header. The 11 passing, 11 technique is okay. The penalty taking and tackling are nice. He's not much of a marker, but striker, what are you going to do? Or, advanced forward, what are you going to do? Or center forward, what are you going to do? There's so many names for this particular position, I swear. So, we may have overpaid for him a little bit, but it's $6.25 million, and he's got some appearance fees and goal fees attached to that as well. On the outs, Fiat, we did let a few players go. Francisco went to Oxford on loan, finally got him out on a loan he was willing to take. Kalani Barton, we sold to Hull. He left on a free. Finn Mioni went to Ipswich for £39,500. Owen Goodman went to Nottingham Forest for £1,600. Vontae William and Basilio Reno Socialice, who were both youth players who hadn't really improved, we let go on frees as well. Game-wise, it's been more of the same. We actually had 2 draws, so we've increased our draws. But last games we played, we beat Man City and we beat Stockport. So we drew against United 2-all. We drew against United 2-all. Mateta and Olise with goals. We drew against Liverpool, which was a very good win, which was a very good non-loss for us, I should say. Pellegrini goal in the 47th minute. They got a goal from Oxlade-Chamberlain in the 22nd minute. This was one of those games where they had all the chances and they couldn't really do much with it. Alte had an 8.2 in between the sticks, was player of the match. He's been a very good pickup for us. Then we kind of dropped the ball against Chelsea. I can't be too upset about it, though, because it was literally 3 days after the Liverpool game, and I played all my starters against Liverpool. We dropped the ball against Chelsea 2-0. I can't really be upset about that. I'm kind of happy we just held them to 2 because it was literally 3 days after we played Liverpool. I played all my first teamers against Liverpool, and then we played third place Chelsea 3 days later. So the fact that we were able to hold them to 2, I think is good. This was also a game where Ferguson got sent off on a pretty horrific foul. He's literally out like the next 5 games. We got ourselves right against Everton. We beat them 2-0. Edward a goal, Olise a goal. I think it's Fulham, which was an absolute demolition. Pellegrini, a hat-trick's worth of goals. Fosu a goal. Edward a goal. Schlepp a goal. This was a second half. We had 5 goals in the second half. Oh, wait a minute, 4 goals in the second half. It was 4 goals in the second half. Now, they got goals from Cavallo, Chalaba, and Stanislas in the second half as well. But this was just one of those games where we put the pedal to the metal and we kept it on the floor until we stopped scoring. And that was right near the end of the game. So that currently leaves us in 5th place on 42 points. West Ham is a point ahead of us on 43, and then Chelsea's 8 points ahead of them. So the top 3 have kind of sussed themselves out. It's going to be a 2-team fight for the championship. Man City and Liverpool. It's going to be a 2-team fight for the trophy. Man City and Liverpool are going to be fighting out to the bitter end. Chelsea, I think, has a solid lock on 3rd place. it's going to be between these 4 teams for the last 7 spots, I think. Southampton is a player as well. So currently, Edward leads us with 16 goals. Elise has the highest rating at 7.45 and 11 assists. Altay Bayender leads us with 4 Players of the Match awards. Take from that what you will. Mitchell has 7 yellow cards. Ferguson has the 1 red card. So we've got a decent run of games coming up. We're somehow in the red when it comes to our money, but that will probably rebound at the end of the season when we get the TV money and whatnot. So today we are playing Arsenal, and then we're going to play Villa in the FA Cup 4th round. So we've got the roster set for the Arsenal match. We have Altay in goal, Riedewald, Zagadou, Anderson, and Guehi as the defensive back 4, Seone and Chowdhury as the midfielders, Eze and Hughes as the attacking midfielders, Edward and Pellegrini up top as the strikers. Ferguson is suspended. Mateta is out with an injury. He has sprained knee ligaments. I'll be honest with you, I saw the injury thing come up, and I stopped reading it, sprained knee ligaments, and it came back as like 3 to 5 weeks. Olise is... Well, Clark injured himself. He's got sprained knee ligaments as well. He's out 2 to 5 weeks. Where's Olise? Olise is coming off his injury. He should be back in a couple of days. Sessegnon's coming off his injury. He should be coming back in a couple of days. And one of the guys we just signed came in injured as well. And he will be back in a couple of days too. So currently, for the moment, we're not exactly 100% match fit, but it's a good squad that's on the field. Yeah, Verone came in injured. He'll be back in about a week. I am switching it up a little bit for this game. I've got Edward up top as he advanced forward, and Pellegrini is playing pressing forward. Anderson to Seone. Feeds Edward over to Pellegrini. Pellegrini's got a little bit of room, but not much. He feeds the ball to Edward, who absolutely blows by the defender. Gets his 17th goal of the season. And the Chelsea keeper is a bit peeved at that. That would be 2. Edward just kept on running. The defenders got held up on the bodies around Pellegrini. Torreira to Tierney for Chelsea. Thomas, back to Tierney. Torreira, out to Tierney. He drives forward. Smith Rowe tries sending it in, bounces off a player. Now it's going back and forth. Now we got the ball flying through the air. Ends up at Tierney's feet. Back to Gabriel. Torreira to Tierney. Tierney driving forward. Gets to Martinelli. Martinelli's got help. And he's got it from Smith Rowe, who scores his 2nd goal of the season. Really thought we had a chance at stopping that. Well, the first time we did, they got it back on the 2nd time around. Smith Rowe just kept drifting out, pulled himself away from the defender. Wide open shot. Not a lot Altay could do to stop that. Riedewald on the throw into Seone. Back to Riedewald. He gets it to Eze. Eze curls around and puts it away. A heck of a shot in the upper left corner of the net. Well done. Now, if it goes back, the one thing I am noticing is Edward and Pellegrini are right on top of each other. So we're going to fix that at the half because the half is coming up. And it is the half. In the rain at Arsenal. We lead 2-1. 3 shots, 2 on target. They're 15-4. Holy cow. Slight possession advantage for us. As long as Bayonder stands tall between the sticks, and that shouldn't be too hard for him. He is, after all, 6'6". We'll be doing okay. So Eze needs to stay wider. Pellegrini, we're going to make complete forward on attack. We're going to switch him and Edward. I'm pulling Saka off for Berardi. Ramsdale bombs the ball forward. Oh my God, Gabi got between the defenders. Rounds Bayender. Nice save by whomever that is. Zagadou. Jeez. Did we dodge a bullet there? Smith Rowe sends it in. Thomas is there. He heads it in the upper right corner of the net. And Chelsea, good gracious, What a slip of the tongue. Arsenal equalize just after the second half begins. Tierney sends it in, and they get a third. Smith Rowe again. His second goal of the game. Guys. Tomiyasu to Smith Rowe. Dinks it up for Gabi. Takes a shot, pushes it wide left. Looked like it was going in there for a second. My two guys are playing really close to each other, though. About 70 minutes in. Guehi is not having the best match, so we're going to bring on Malatini. We're going to get Edward off and bring on Fosu. Yeah, Edward has a goal, and he has a 7.0, but it says he's in danger of losing his cool, and I really can't afford to have him get sent off. Ball's bombed forward. Headed down. Martinelli to Smith Rowe. Gabi out into space for Saka. Saka holds it up. Gets it to Tomiyasu, top of the box. And he goes wide left. That looked like it was going for a minute too. And that is the game. And due to a Smith Rowe brace, we lose 3-2. 27 shots, 10 target with them, 8 and 2 for us. We've been offensively lackluster there. I am not happy with your performance. We've got Villa in 3 days. I'm going to fix my training after that too. So we're going to save the game here. And we're going to come back with our Villa match in just a bit. Now, even with no practicing or anything like that, it's still going to be a fairly rotated side. And because it is the FA Cup game, we've only got 7 on the bench instead of 9. You wouldn't think 2 extra slots would make a difference, but sometimes it really does make a difference. I want my healthiest starting 11 out there. And this would appear to be it. I can't remember if Fosu prefers the left or the right. He prefers the left. Does DeSmit prefer the right or the left? He also prefers the left, but he is also comfortable. Fosu is more comfortable at the right as a winger. Or an inside forward on attack, or inside forward. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to have alternate. Well, no, it's a game. It's a cup game, so I told Jiri he would start those. So Pavlenka in goal, Mitchell, Ferguson, Thaler, and Guehi as the defensive back four, Blanco and Milivojevic as the midfielders, DeSmit and Fosu as the attack midfielders, Pellegrini and Edward up top as the strikers. Now Villa is currently 19th in the Prem, so this could be one of those trap games where they play out of their minds, or this could be also one of those games where we play down to their level. Martinez bombs it forward. Trezeguet to Ings. Fouled by... Oh, no, he wasn't fouled by Thaler. Buendia loses the ball. Gets it to McGinn somehow. Cash. Back to McGinn. Bailey to Ings. To McGinn. Up for Trezeguet, who doesn't have the angle. He instead sends it back and out. Luiz to McGinn. Buendia. And he scores from distance. What on earth was that? It wasn't even that hard of a shot because I could track it. Trezeguet, Luiz to McGinn to Buendia, and he just bombs it in, and Pavlenka dove late. McGinn gets the ball off the header. Back to Mings, over to Konsa. Konsa to Cash. McGinn to Bailey. Cash driving forward. Out to Bailey. Oh, he went to the tackle and missed. Bailey gets to Ings, who heads it over the crossbar. We dodged a bullet there. The heck is this formation? Thaler to Milivojevic. Blanco out to DeSmit. Crosses it in. Pellegrini can't get a head on it. Trezeguet chests the ball down. Drives forward. Cuts right. Gets the ball out into space for Bailey. Bailey baseline. And it's knocked away. Buendia. Knocked away by Milivojevic. Fosu. Oh, they ended the highlight there. Are you kidding me? Guehi on the throw-in. Fosu. Gets the ball to DeSmit. He drops it off from Mitchell, who takes a shot right at Martinez. Buendia again with a corner kick. Knocked away. Bailey. Oh, ambitious shot. Just over the crossbar. Milivojevic up into space. Fosu's there. Nice save by Martinez. Milivojevic to Fosu. Fosu feeds Pellegrini. Pellegrini back to Fosu. Fosu up into space. Mitchell off the post. Martinez bombs it forward. That's the highlight. Son of a gun. We've been the better team statistically speaking, but sometimes it just doesn't matter. Buendia. Mings heads it over the crossbar. Edouard. Crosses it in. DeSmet was fouled. Should be Edouard with a penalty kick. Oh, it's Milivojevic. What am I saying? Luka's still the best penalty kick taker on the squad. He just doesn't play all that much anymore. So we get one back. Nice shot, Luka. About 65 minutes in, we're going to make a couple of changes. Guehi's a bit knackered, but I can only bring on I can bring over Ferguson. And we'll bring on Anderson. Milivojevic has the yellow, but we'll bring on Seoni. We'll save our last sub for now. Fosu, long cross in to Smet, knocked away. Anderson picks up the ball. Gets it to Seoni. Seoni over to Ferguson. Ferguson crosses it to Smits there, right at Martinez. Yep, we'll bring on Perez. Cash to McGinn. Babacar. Back to Cash. Cash sends it in. Ings has it over the crossbar. A bit more match fit than they are, but it's not. I don't think it's going to matter. Extra time. Fabulous. Blanco. Over to Mitchell. Mitchell to DeSmit. DeSmit up to Pellegrini. Mitchell. Over to Perez. Heads it forward for Fosu. Fosu. Oh, it's an own goal. Fosu kicked it. It looks like it went off the post or target. And then it hit the keeper, and then it looks like target sent it in. They're calling it an own goal. Perez has it forward. Fosu's there. Hits it. The keeper directs it. Target's there, and he just foots the ball in. He probably stuck his foot out intending to block the ball, but Fosu sends it in. Thaller's there, wide left. That is halftime. Drop back down to positive. McGinn. And Ruggiani heads it wide left. And that is full time. And an own goal off a very nice Fosu drive gives us the victory. I don't know why we weren't the favorites in that game. Maybe it was because we just played another game 3 days prior and we didn't have our best 11 on the field. But man, that was tough. It was kind of painful to watch too. A lot of close goals. Also ended up being player of the match, okay? Save the game here real quick. We are into the 5th round. That game is coming up here. So we will probably play them and Newcastle. So, A tough loss against Arsenal. That was a game that was winnable, even though they thoroughly outclassed us in terms of statistics. We still had our chances. We just couldn't make them work. The Villa game was a lot of luck. We had some missed shots. That game could have gone either way. But, you know what? We're still in the FA Cup. We're doing well. We got some players coming back from injury. That should help us out. The players we brought in should help us out. So hopefully games like this won't be the norm where, you know, our starting 11 is head and shoulders above our next 11. Maybe just heads above our next 11. So, yeah, wow, that was a tough game. It's only going to get tougher, too. Who's in the 4th round? Yeah, some pretty good teams there. So we're doing well. I think we can get European football. We're certainly going to try. And if we don't get European football, it's no one's fault but mine. So that's fine. You know, these 3 teams have a lock on the top 3 places, I think. So, yeah, because Chelsea's 8 points ahead of West Ham. So it's going to be these 5 teams fighting for 3 spots. And we're going to give it our level best. That's about all we can do. But it's been a good season so far. We've had some really good performances. And even in some of our losses, we've been not bad. Some of our losses we've been absolutely blown out. You know, the 4-1, 3-1. We're back to losing just by single goals now. So, except this game here, that was 2-0. So, things are starting to come together. Second half of the season, we got some tough teams to play still. We end at Man United and Man City. Wow. Okay. Something tells me this Man City game is going to be the one that decides whether or not we get European football. I'm calling it now. So hopefully it doesn't come to pass. If it did, that'd be absolutely amazing and scary at the same time. So if you did like what you've seen and heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name is FM Jellicoe. I thank you for watching.